think it's pretty clear. Want to redo, we'll give you, do you have new forms, Madam Clerk? So we can, do you have extras?
Sitting right here.
What was that?
Not sitting right here.
Okay. Do you have any extras? I know we'd given you a bunch, or do you need new forms?
I really only brought the ones that I was required to turn in today.
That's okay. What we'll do is we'll make sure on the next available break, I'll have my clerk count off how many there are. We'll get them reprinted. I think they keep forms in the clerk's office, and then put the date on, and then you can fill them out again, and then we'll hand them back over to the state. Do you intend these subpoenas to be the equivalent of your witness list, or were you going to file something separately?
I was intending for this to be my witness list. I think that would probably be easier.
Any objection from the state?
No, we understand. I think we've been given fair notice, Your Honor.
Okay.
I do have some other challenges on some of these subpoenas, not, again, that we need to necessarily address right now, but I would like to advise the court and the defendant that he's requested a subpoena for a person identified as Sammy Fleischman. We have learned that Ms. Fleischman has relocated to the state of Texas. Therefore, we will not be able to secure her appearance here at the trial on behalf of Mr. Brooks. If he wishes to make arrangements for transportation for Ms. Fleischman, he may do so himself. Ms. Fleischman, it is my understanding, was the woman who organized the parade, or was one of the people that organized the parade, but that's how she's identified in the reports, and therefore her relevance may or may not be an issue as well.
All right, did you hear the state advise you of that?
Yeah, I wouldn't even begin to try to know how I can do something like that from a jail cell. I'm pretty much broke.
Well, you're advised, though, if she's out of state, there's other procedures would have to be followed, and the state is not obligated to make those arrangements since it's an out-of-state witness at this point, okay? Did you hear me say that?
I follow.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the subpoena list?
I mean, there's others that we have objections to, but I don't know if you want to address that right now, Your Honor.
Well, I'd like to have you put them on the record so that Mr. Brooks knows, and if he wants to respond now, that's fine. Otherwise, we can take it up a little bit later.
The other two would be Erica Patterson and Detective Steve Guth, seeing as they have already testified and were subject to cross-examination. We would request an offer of proof as to what relevant testimony, if any, they may offer. And then there was one of the parents of the victims, Kathleen Urell. She was not present at the parade, and it's really unknown what type of testimony he would want to elicit from her. So we would be requesting an offer of proof to establish the relevancy of those witnesses, Your Honor.
Do you want to address that now or have an opportunity to think about that and address it perhaps at the end of the day?
It's really nothing to think about. I think it's pretty clear. They are, besides Ms. Patterson and Detective Guth, I mean, as far as with them, I think it would be relevant because we have paperwork that was filed by the district attorney about there being no factual basis nor no domestic violence incident on November 20th, which they testified to. I think that that's perjury. So that should be...
Well, you're giving me an argument, I guess, on the relevance of their testimony, sir, but as I recall the testimony, you were the one asking the questions about the 20th. The state dismissed that charge. I granted that request to dismiss it. There's nothing that you are bringing to my attention that I can tell would be perjury, but I don't know if what you're trying to tell me is you'd like to question them about their credibility because that charge, explain to me a little bit further.
It would be a lot to do with credibility and also a few questions that I believe would still be relevant to even the events of the 21st. there's still some relevant things that I feel should be answered, that I feel the jury deserves to know.
Well, I'm going to give him some leeway. He's a pro se defendant. He has a right to call witnesses. These are two witnesses that testified. He did have the opportunity to cross-examine them, but I think it's reasonable for him to want to question them further, and I'll keep them on your witness list and instruct the state to assist as they have already offered. What about this Kathleen Urell? I know she's on their potential witness list that was filed.
And that,
To correct, I apologize for interrupting, but I did misspeak. She was at the parade, but she did not see, she cannot testify to anyone being struck or injured by the SUV other than her own children that she learned after the fact. And she cannot identify the driver.
All right, Mr. Brooks?
it's still relevancy there. She was at the parade, and as we just heard right now for the record, that she would be directly affected by it, by her family being victims in the matter. Also, she gave statements and she filed a report. I feel like her testimony would be relevant to the matter.
All right, I'll keep her on the list as well. Anyone else on the list of subpoenas?
No, Your Honor, we'll just await to receive the corrected subpoenas and then we will endeavor to have them served.
All right, thank you.
Just
Thank you.
one thing real quick, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
And if I'm misspeaking right here, feel free to correct me. You said something to the effect about getting more paperwork in during the lunch hour. What was that referring to?
I
Was that referring to
believe
the
it was
subpoenas?
referring to a witness list. If you had one, but what you're indicating is you'd like the grouping of subpoenas and the witnesses who are identified to be reflective of your witness list without filing an independent witness list.
Well, I missed this subpoena. It's only one, but I would have to change it because it was filled out in the same way as the other ones. My mistake for missing it. I got a lot of paper.
What's
here.
the name on it?
Catrice Babayes. I don't know. It's spelled.
All right,
I don't want to butcher it.
That's okay. Hand it to the bailiff, and then I'll take a look at it.
It's filled out in the correct. The incorrect, just like the other one. So I would have to essentially change it. But I just wanted that for the record that was lurking in my paperwork.
That's okay. Thank you for providing that. The last name is Babiasz.
Yes, we're familiar with that witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll add that to the list. State still have the originals that I handed over to you.
I do.
All right, why don't we give all of those back to Mr. Brooks so that he has those, including the one in my hand. We'll make sure he gets new forms. And then if you could just make sure you provide those at the end of the day today, or by the end of the day.
Well, I don't know if I'll be able to fill all those out on a break.
If need be, I'll let you sit here at the end of the day until you get them filled out, so to make sure the state gets them right away. Okay?
I can try to knock out as many as I can during the breaks to make it easier.
We'll
But
give you time.
I'm not sure that,
We'll give you time. Don't worry about it. All right, anything else from the state?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brooks, anything else from you?
Yes. At this point, I'm probably beating the dead horse, but I just have to state for the record anyway. I would like to direct your honor to, I believe it's Milo versus United States, 505 F2D 1026. Are you familiar with that, your honor?
Not off the top of my head, but I can pull it up.
And also Higgins versus Levine, 415 US 533. And those cases are being brought up because of the continuing asking of me about the jurisdiction that I've been challenging. I believe they're very, very relevant to this matter.
Could I ask Mr. Brooks to repeat those numbers again?
For both,
Yes, please.
for Milo, I believe it is, or it might be Milo, but Milo.
M-I-L-O?
Milo,
Is it M-I-L-O, the spelling?
MELO.
Oh, I had it right the first time. Okay.
505 F2D 1026. And Higgins versus Levine, 415 US 533.
Anything specific you want to draw my attention to?
Well, there's cases that challenge the jurisdiction, which I've been doing, challenging the jurisdiction. Milo versus United States states once jurisdiction is challenged, the court cannot proceed when it clearly appears that the court lacks jurisdiction. The court has no authority to reach merits, but rather should dismiss the action.
For the record, Mr. Brooks, the Higgins versus Levine is 415 US 528. Perhaps
Whoa.
you're drawing my attention to page 533, but the site for the case is 415 US 528.
That could be so. I apologize if I'm stating it wrong.
What about the other
I
case?
believe it's, well, the information I have is 533. That states the law requires proof of jurisdiction to appear on the record of the administrative agency in all administrative proceedings. We have yet to prove the jurisdiction. It has yet to be proven. I've filed a motion. I've stated on the record numerous times. I have yet to get an answer.
And you're specifically referring to the documents you filed on October 3rd.
I've been challenging jurisdiction since the beginning of trial, probably as far back as when I became a pro per defendant myself. Also, you can look at U.S. versus Lopez. You can look at, I think that's from, it may be from 1995.
Do you have a citation?
Just really quick. I may have to find it in my paperwork for the Lopez.
All right, well, you locate that. When you find it, let me know outside the presence of the jury. I'll take your request under advisement. I'll take a look at these cases. I don't believe they're going to change my previous ruling that the issues that you have raised are without merit as previously ruled on. But I'll take a look, and if I feel I need to address it further, I'll give you an opportunity to argue.
I believe it should be addressed. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Then with that, we are still going to continue, Mr. Brooks, and we'll bring the jury out. I presume the state has the next witness available.
Yes.
All right, Madam Clerk. Okay. Did you say you thought Lopez was from 1995?
I believe that's the one that it's referring to.
If it's the same case, it's 514 US 549 for the state.
514549.
514 US 549
Thank
from
you.
1995.
Thank you.
All rise.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. State may call its next witness.
Thank you. And the state calls Battalion Chief Jim Hawkinson.
Sir, please make your way to the witness stand. When you get there, please remain standing and raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. When you are seated, please state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Jim Hawkinson, Jim Haakenson.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. How are you employed?
I'm employed as a battalion chief shift commander for the city of Waukesha Fire Department.
How long have you held that position?
I've been a battalion chief for 6 years.
How long in total have you worked for the Waukesha Fire Department?
22 years.
Did you have any other type of fire or emergency work before you worked for WFD?
I did. I worked for the city of Pewaukee. I believe I started in 1996.
What kind of things are you responsible for as a battalion chief?
As a battalion chief, I manage the day-to-day operations of an entire shift of firefighters, lieutenants, company officers, those kinds of things.
Could you describe for us in general terms how the Waukesha Fire Department is organized?
Yes, the fire department is organized into 3 separate shifts. These shifts are divided into 5 stations. The stations are strategically located throughout the city to provide response to any area of the city in a very timely fashion. The minimum staffing, meaning the minimum number of people on duty every day, is 26 personnel.
Which of the 5 stations is closest to the downtown Waukesha area?
That would be Station 1.
Okay. Can you describe for us the resources that are available at each of the 5 stations?
There are 5 ambulances and either 3 engines and 2 ladder trucks. So at each station there is a heavy piece of apparatus, an engine or a truck, and an ambulance.
Were you on duty working as a battalion chief on Sunday, November 21st of 2021?
I was.
Were you aware that the Waukesha Christmas Parade was going to be taking place that day?
I was.
In your capacity as a battalion chief for the fire department, were you aware of any preparations that had been underway with your department, knowing that that event was going on?
Yes, we had a unit that participated in the parade. We also received an incident action plan from the police department relative to the parade operations.
Your Honor, Exhibit 1 is a map that's previously been admitted and published. I'd ask to publish that again for everybody.
Permission granted.
Mr. Mr. Hawkinson, if you'll direct your attention to the screen in front of you, this is Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this exhibit?
I do.
Are you able to point out for us on this map where Station 1 would be, or is it not on the map?
It is not marked on the map. However, it is at the intersection of Fuller Street and St. Paul Avenue.
Could you, it's a touch screen in front of you, could you just draw a little X where the map, where Station 1 would be if the map were a little bigger?
It would be right there.
Oh, I see. Okay. And you've used a yellow arrow to designate that.
Nah, so it appears.
Gotcha. Were you at Station 1 that day?
I was.
Okay. At what point did your department first respond to a parade-related call for service on the afternoon of November 21st?
We received an alert at approximately 16:39. That's 4:39 p.m.
What was the nature of that alert?
Initially, it was an unknown problem, but given radio traffic that we had heard, we assumed it to be a vehicle versus pedestrian.
Okay. And what did your department resources do in response to getting that alert?
Everyone immediately assembled and began the response that was dispatched.
Everyone from?
Station 1 at that time.
Okay. And what happened next?
En route, we began to hear additional radio traffic to numerous reports of other people being struck. At that point, the dispatcher asked if I would like to upgrade the alarm, which I did, bringing all 5 stations immediately to the area.
Okay. And let me back up for a minute. Before getting a call about pedestrian vehicle, did your department respond to any other calls for service within the minutes before that call?
Not that I recall. We prepared to respond based on radio traffic we had heard referencing a call in Frame Park.
Okay, and what was the nature of that call in Frame Park?
On the police dispatch, it sounded as though there was some sort of incident with a man and a knife.
Okay. And what did your department do in response to receiving that dispatch?
We began to move towards the apparatus because we knew that Station 1 would be responding to that.
And did anybody from your department get to that call in time?
No, we were never dispatched to it. By the time we got out to the apparatus bay and to the rigs, we could start hearing the radio traffic regarding the vehicles and the pedestrians, and that was occurring on Main Street downtown.
Okay. Now we'll fast forward again to the point where we left off, where you said you had upgraded the call to all 5 stations, right?
That's correct.
What happened next?
We began our response. Getting to the scene was a bit difficult due to the large crowd of personnel fleeing downtown. Our response route took us right up Barstow to Main Street, and we turned right on the main, and that's when we arrived.
At some point, did you or your department become aware that it was going to require more than just your department's resources to respond to this?
Absolutely. As we began to hear more and more reports coming in from officers on scene, we began to realize the scope of this was exceeding our response capabilities. And at that time, I upgraded the alarm to a Mavis box alarm for life safety.
Can you explain for the jury what a Mavis box alarm is?
Right. Mavis is a system called the Mutual Aid Box Alarm System. And in this system, it is structured so that a pre-designated type and amount of resources come at each level. So for example, this box alarm brought an additional 4 ambulances, an engine, a squad, and 3 chiefs, in addition to all the other resources that were coming.
And is that where the scope of the response stopped?
Absolutely not. As we got on scene and began to triage patients, determining their level of acuity, and certainly over the almost half mile of the parade route where we found them, we realized quickly that this was going to require additional resources, and we upgraded to the second alarm level. I believe it was 4:52 in the afternoon.
Okay. And what resources came with that second box level?
That would be another 4 ambulances, another 3 chiefs, and another fire engine.
Do you recall what municipalities or other partners that you work with were part of that response?
I would do them a disservice and leave them out for sure. There was a total of 15 municipalities that responded, I believe 23 units in totality.
The Waukesha Christmas Parade, that's an annual event, is that right?
That's correct.
And have you been the shift commander or battalion chief on duty for that event before 2021?
Yes.
Overruled. He may answer. I believe he answered yes. His answer may stand. Just as a reminder, if there's an objection, wait till I rule. Thank you.
Based on your experience in that position, in terms of public attendance, so the number of people attending the event, where does the annual Waukesha Christmas Parade rank on the large public events that are held downtown each year?
It certainly is one of the largest attended, if not the largest. 4th of July is also very well attended as far as parades go.
Your department and the partners that responded in response to your box alarm procedure, you didn't transport every single victim or person who was struck in the parade incident, is that right?
Objection irrelevant.
Overruled.
That is correct. We did not transport every person. We transported a total of 24 patients.
Do you know how any other people were transported away from the scene?
I believe
Overruled. He may answer.
there were approximately 49 additional patients transported.
What time did your last ambulance leave the downtown area?
The last patient was transported by ambulance from the scene at approximately 17:35, 5:35 p.m.
I believe that's all the questions I have for this witness.
All right. Do you have any cross-exam?
I do. Did you ever receive, well, first of all, good afternoon, Chief. Did you ever receive any additional information about the man with a knife in Frame Park?
Other than the radio report or the traffic on the radio?
Yeah, other than that.
I did not.
To the best of your knowledge, do you recall that ever being taken care of?
I
As
have
far
no.
as-
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As far as, do you know if there were any law enforcement that responded to that radio report?
I am unaware of that. I don't have any knowledge of that.
Do you recall, make sure I get the language of this correct. Do you recall making a report with Officer Wagner?
I do not.
I could be looking at the wrong thing prepared by my. To the best of your knowledge, does is Dan Rulo a firefighter on Ambulance 51?
Dan Rulo is a member of the department. I do not recall if he was working that day or if he was assigned to Ambulance 51 that day.
Do you recall being notified? And I know it's kind of the same question, but it's phrased different in what I'm reading, so I just want to clarify it. Were you notified of a possible stabbing?
Again, the radio traffic I received was an incident possibly involving a knife.
Could you clarify what hot wash is?
A hot wash is a term used to discuss events immediately after they happen. It's typically done after incidents of significance to gather as much information as possible immediately after and to see how everybody's doing.
Did you respond to the parade route yourself?
I responded to the incident on the parade route. That is correct.
When you arrived to the scene, was there still any immediate danger that you recall?
It was difficult to gauge if there was any immediate danger. Radio traffic on the police side indicated that there had been shots fired, and certainly we had a large number of people fleeing. So that would be a tough question to answer.
Did you receive any information about the shots fired, who they may have been fired by?
I did not.
Did you receive any information that someone may have been injured by the shots that were fired?
I did not receive any information regarding that.
Do you recall who were the first arriving units to the scene?
The first arriving units to the scene were myself, Engine 1, and Ambulance 51.
So would it be fair to say that you would be B10?
That is correct.
And do you recall where you were positioned at when you arrived?
Yes, we turned right onto Main Street from Barstow, and we ended up probably 50 to 100 feet from that intersection, and I would say southwest of that intersection on Main Street.
Do you recall any law enforcement attempting to clear the transportation routes?
At one point, I spoke with Sergeant Tokarski and asked him if he could assist me in opening up a route to get to the casualty collection point that we established.
Do you recall any loss of power in the downtown area?
Yes, I believe 1740, so 5:40 p.m., sometime around then. The entire, all the lights went out downtown. The downtown area lost power.
Do you recall receiving any information about what may have been the problem with the power?
Not at the time. However, later that evening, it was determined that a power line had gone down due to the high winds that evening.
So to the best of your knowledge, it wasn't due to the incident that you were responding to?
That is correct. I do not believe it was related.
Do you recall about what time you finally left the area?
I believe we cleared the scene about 6:40, 6:45 p.m.
Do you recall if it was already nightfall by that time that you responded?
Just to clarify, are you asking when we responded or when we left?
Roughly around the time you responded. Do you recall it being nighttime, dusk?
It was not dark outside yet. It was probably close to dusk. I mean, there was still light in the sky.
Definitely nighttime when you left the scene.
That is correct.
Did you receive any information about why you needed to respond so quickly to the scene?
I'm going to have to ask you to clarify that. We were dispatched by our dispatcher to respond to an incident, and in my line of work, that usually means you respond very quickly.
No information was given why you needed to respond so quickly?
Our system is set up so that our calls are triaged and our response levels are triaged accordingly. And in this case, this would have been a priority 1 response or intermediate response with lights and siren.
So it's really just get the call and go.
That is correct.
So to your knowledge, you didn't yet have information about why you needed to respond, but you know it was something that needed to be responded to quickly.
That is correct. We were initially dispatched to an unknown incident, and then it was clarified en route, as I mentioned, when the alarm was upgraded, that it was a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident.
Motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident. Have you ever responded to any calls like that before?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned something about a accident plan, or if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but was that what I heard? An accident plan?
Incident action plan.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What does that entail?
It's a plan that's put together usually prior to or during an event that describes how resources are going to be deployed to manage or handle the event.
So it's sort of like just having something in place in case of.
It goes a step further than that. It's a plan that's in place or implemented, for example, in this case, to control access to the downtown area, to identify who is responsible for what tasks, such as clearing vehicles or establishing parade route integrity, those kinds of things.
Outside of the parade incident, to your knowledge, was there any more needed responses to any other incidents that may have been in the area?
While we were on scene at the parade, I believe that we received 2 other calls for service in the city.
To your knowledge, do you recall if they were directly related?
I do not.
No further questions.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Very briefly. On cross-examination, there was reference made to a casualty collection point. Can you describe what that is?
So a casualty collection point is something that's established when there's a mass casualty incident or a large number of casualties or people injured. The goal of it is to get people to a centralized point where they can receive treatment and triage or determining the severity of their injuries so that they can be transported directly from that area. It is the most efficient way to handle a mass casualty.
That's not something that you would set up in a routine pedestrian versus motor vehicle incident. Is that correct?
Objection, you're saying.
Overruled, he may answer.
That is not something that we would normally set up in a pedestrian versus motor vehicle accident.
Can we put Exhibit 1 back up on the screen, please?
Go ahead.
Could you circle for us on the screen in front of you where the casualty collection point was set up here?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled, he may answer.
That is supposed to be the intersection of Clinton and Main.
Okay. And from there, where were the injured people transported to?
From that point, they were taken to 5 area hospitals.
Okay. So not just Waukesha Memorial.
That is correct.
Waukesha Memorial is just up the hill off the side of this map, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. What other hospitals, if you recall?
Aurora Summit, Frederick Menominee Falls, Children's Hospital, and Frederick Hospital.
And aside from ambulances involved with your department and the other responding agencies, do you know how else victims were transported from the scene?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled, he may answer. It's not hearsay.
Numerous patients were transported up by law enforcement, bystanders in the parade, and family members.
On cross-examination, in reference to this being a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident, you were asked whether you'd ever responded to a call like that before, and you said, yes, sir. You remember that testimony?
Yes.
So I'd ask a clarifying question. Have you ever been involved in or directed a response to a motor vehicle versus pedestrian incident of this magnitude before in your career?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
I have not.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You may step down.